Morning, everybody. I'm here today talking to Alessandra Alonso from the Women in Travel. We're going to talk about Feast today. Now, Feast is a new initiative that has come about during COVID-19. Feast stands for Female Employability Action Supported by Travel and Tourism. Good morning, Alessandra.
Good morning to you, Mary. Nice to be here with you.
Fantastic. Can you tell me, what's the current situation for unemployed women in the London area now as a result of COVID-19?
So, as you probably know, 60% of the workforce in travel, tourism, and hospitality in particular is traditionally female. Now, as you can imagine, with the current situation and the pandemic, a lot of the opportunities in travel, tourism, and hospitality have disappeared in terms of employment. And also, employers have had to really reassess their situation in light of closure and not being able to reopen the business full time and to the full extent. Now, women often have the lowest paid roles and are employed potentially part-time or flexibly, and these tend to be the roles that go first. So we know from the many women that we've spoken and who have approached us that women who until 2 or 3 months ago had relatively stable jobs and opportunity are now really worried about their future and the loss of income.
It's a pretty serious situation. Tell me a little bit about Feast.
So Feast,
how it came
as
about.
you said, Female Employability Action Supported by Travel and Tourism is a project that has come about earlier in the year and very much has been implemented now with COVID in mind. Is being supported by the European Social Fund. And in all honesty, at the outset, I don't believe that ESF had provided this funding thinking about, the pandemic, because that's what had not been obviously foreseen or foreseeable. But, our aim was to support women who were unemployed to be able to gain employability skill and other soft skills that are relevant to travel and tourism so that they could identify employment opportunity. Now, with COVID-19, what has happened is that we've had to slightly rethink the program and have seen the value in making our training, our mentoring, our coaching, and our overall support available to women who were in jobs but are now losing it as a result of COVID. So what we are doing with Feast, we are basically helping women who've lost their job, who have to now think about where they are going to go next, whether they are still staying in hospitality and tourism, or whether they use their transferable skill to be deployed somewhere else, to really feel they're not on their own. So that confidence that can stay, with them, they can perhaps train a little bit more, do interview skills training, and therefore be provided with an overall package of support that is going to make them feel much more confident going forward and apply for new opportunities.
That's fantastic. You mentioned skills there. Transferable skills within hospitality are so important. What kind of skills are you training, giving these women under the Feast program?
So, in all honesty, we are trying to be as customized as possible. What I mean by that is that we are, to start with, we give every woman who comes to us, who is referred to us, a mentoring session. During that hour of one-to-one mentoring, we are really going to uncover, who she is, the skills she already has, the things that perhaps are a little bit lagging behind or where she could improve, but also has strength and therefore what we should be leading by. From the mentoring session, we can then look at, what is in the range of workshop and further training that we offer the most appropriate. So actually, it's not quite a one size fits all, because we appreciate and I understand that we might have, women who had only just started to work, and women who perhaps, have been in hospitality for a number of years and might see this opportunity as one in which they want to make some changes, or, go for slightly different job and therefore build their skills to make it possible. But absolutely, you are right when you say that there are loads of transferable skills. So communication skills, presentation skills, customer service skills, these are all things that women who work in hospitality and tourism have already partly developed, and that many other sectors will be also seeking to redeploy. But of course, we are also hoping that, opportunity will come in the sector they had originally chosen as their profession. So our aim is not to take women away from the sector, because, this is also the sector in which we work a lot. We just want to give every woman who is unemployed and feeling vulnerable right now the opportunity to be supported and to have a chance to access, free of charge, things that perhaps at other times of their life she hasn't had the opportunity to do. Now is the time to do it, because there is sort of a gap in their employment, and at the same time, because in this way she's going to feel much better prepared going forward.
That's me. And how is this mentoring delivered? Is it? I mean, obviously, we face to face is quite difficult right now. But
no, we really are using the virtual skills. So depending a little bit on what the woman is comfortable with using, it might be Zoom, it might be WhatsApp, it might be Skype. So all the channels that we are now getting used to use. I would say Zoom is probably the most widely used nowadays.
Okay. And what kind of eligibility? I mean, we've talked about being unemployed. What are the eligibility criteria to be able to access support?
Absolutely, Mary. This is a very much a London focused, and obviously we are conscious of that this is London focused program. So the funding was made available to unemployed women in London. So if a woman is over 16, not in education, not being paid for work, so she could be doing some volunteering in the meantime, but not working salaried work. If she's based in one of the 33 London boroughs, and she's got obviously a resident permit, I mean, she's either British or has permission to live and work in the UK, then we are able to help. So there is a vast number of women.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you see it being rolled out anywhere else in the UK? Do you think there might be funding available?
I think that will be dependent a little bit from each funder has different objectives, and these are large funders and large projects, I mean, of which we are one small, if you like, part. However, it is true that generally when a project is successful and well received, it is then relatively easy to go back to the funder and say, look, if we benefited women in London, we can perhaps do the same in Birmingham or in Manchester or, somewhere else. So we are definitely hopeful that we will be able to have that conversation by the time the project ends. And that's what I want to also stress. So we really have a window of opportunity now in the summer, because the project ends at the end of October. We have space for somewhere between 70 and 90 women in total. Therefore, if there is an opportunity, if anybody listening to my interview thinks this could be me, then I would definitely recommend that they get in touch sooner rather than later.
And why do you think employers should get involved?
Well, I think this is a fantastic opportunity to support your female employees if you are having to let some go. And I guess that the women have nothing to pay, the employers has nothing to pay, but what you are doing, you are actually increasing your employer's branding, because the person who receives this opportunity will say, actually, my employer cares, my employer wants to support. Unfortunately, the situation is what it is, but here is a series of tools that you can use. And certainly, I know that employers are already signposting different possibility and opportunities around well-being, for example, mental health. Well, this is a real opportunity, to upskill, to be supported, to retain and grow your confidence, and to meet also other women and potentially employers by sort of towards the end of the program, and therefore hear about real opportunity for work. So I think it is really valuable that employers who hear me and hear this interview think to themselves, is there anyone that I know of that could benefit from this? And if they do, please get in touch.
And as an unemployed woman, how would an unemployed woman get in touch? What do they need to do?
They can either contact returners at womenintravelcic.com. They can contact Alessandra, myself, at womenintravelcic.com. And if you go on our website, womenintravelcic.com, you find all the contact details there. I also want to say that we are a social enterprise, so we are a commercial company that reinvests all its profit into its mission, which is why we've been able to access this funding. Our core mission is to provide women with economic empowerment using travel, tourism and hospitality as a force for good. So you can rest assured that you are contacting the right organization, because this is really what we are devoted to.
Thank you. We will be putting this out, and hopefully lots of employers will get in touch, and you will get to quota of 80 people. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today.
Thank you so much, Mary. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you to Caterer.
Okay.